Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Insidious, starring Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, Barbara Hershey, Ty Simpkins, and Lin Shaye, and directed by James Wan. Now, before I get into this review, I must confess, I didn't see this movie in theaters because it's that PG-13 rating, and first of all, that I didn't even know what the hell it was. It was just something that I've never heard of, and I wasn't interested. But I've seen part of it with my sister one time in the movie theater while she was watching it. And I didn't like what I saw, but I'm not going to point it out and tell you which scene it is, because that's what the show is for. So, let's get into it. I love the score of this movie. It's so freaking haunting to a point you won't sleep for days. And that lady with the candle looks like a witch. Great way to open this movie, in my opinion. Renee Lambert, played by Rose Byrne, has a pretty nice singing voice, but the character unfortunately was a little weak for me. But it's not really her fault. I'm going to blame the script more than her, I'm afraid. But the character by an actor I am going to put a blame on is Josh Lambert, played by Patrick Wilson, with his reunion with James Wan from the two Conjuring films. Well, this was before Conjuring, so what am I saying? His character is absolutely ridiculous, and I can't stand him in this movie. Their son Dalton, played by Ty Simpkins, after he falls down from the attic, makes him go into a coma like boom. You're asleep for 3 months. Didn't quite work for me there. Renee hears voices coming from the baby's room. Didn't feel too scary, and I must confess this now. I don't find this movie very scary as of a lot of those PG-13 rated horror movies in general. I don't find them very much as scary as the R-rated ones. We hear knocking on the door, and Josh checks it out. Nobody is there. Meanwhile, Renee finds a man in Callie, the baby's room, and we hear the alarm, and suddenly the door is open. And I thought, these characters are so damn dumb, I couldn't stand that scene. We see a bloody handprint on Dalton's leg. Was kind of frightening because I thought he was bleeding at first on his own, but we'll definitely find out whose it is later in the show. But it did kind of feel intense for me. This movie is not only, in my honest opinion, very more funny than scary. It's just I feel like this is a comedy. And that's what Blumhouse keeps doing to their movies that are PG-13 rated, like Happy Death Day recently. The horror movies that are rated PG-13 are usually not as scary as the horror movies that are rated R. And that's going to be a real problem for these movies throughout. Specs, played by Lee Winnell, this movie's writer, and back again from Saw, and Tucker, played by Angus Sampson, are in this movie, I feel like, for comedic reasons. And I don't need that in a horror film. But, hell, this is much more a comedy, in my opinion, than a horror film. Elise, the icon of this whole series, played by Lin Shaye, now she may be the best thing about this movie. And unfortunately, it's not saying much. The dark realm the spirits live is called the Further, which is pretty much the stupidest name for a world in a movie ever, by the way. Am I the only one that thinks that Dalton's demon looks a hell of a lot like frickin' Darth Maul from Star Wars with that lipstick face? I mean, Jesus Christ, he's not scary. He looks just like frickin' Darth Maul. And I call him the frickin' Darth Maul look-alike for that reason. And he's lucky to be called anything at all. Frickin' Darth Maul look-alike. Oh my god. Josh goes into the Further and finds Dalton is with the freaking Darth Maul look-alike. And we see his hands as he puts the handprints on the blanket. And that thing that had goats, like ghost feet, like Krampus, like goat feet, like Krampus. Would like that, and that fight with that demon and Josh wasn't much of a fight. Like, he just stands there and lets him go. How stupid. And, by the way, folks, the movement on the freaking Darth Maul look-alike thing looks really bad. Watch the movie. You'll see what I'm talking about. Dalton wakes up, finally, with his father After Josh comes back to the real world, Elise suddenly realizes he's not himself, and Elise snaps a picture of him out of the blue, and suddenly he kills her. It's seriously a real problem because Elise is in the new movie as well as the other two, and she's dead in this movie. It's just baffling to me. Like, how is there sequels? Well, let's get to the rating. So I'm going to give this movie a 5.3 out of 10. This is more of a comedy than a horror movie, and it really didn't scare me as much because it's a PG-13 rated horror movie, and those aren't as scary as the R-rated ones. There were a couple of things I liked here and there, but unfortunately it was just an okay movie. Not great, but just okay. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Insidious Chapter 2. And until next time, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, watch some more videos, and please hit the comment section, and please write something positive. And until next time, whee!